Hey, yo, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast. This is our Miami edition, presented by DJ City. I'm your host, DJ Crooked. We have DJ D Miles.
What up, what up?
We got Jimmy the Great.
Yeah.
DJ Neva is MIA in MIA.
But not in Miami.
Yeah, he's not in Miami. He had to go to New York.
He's MIA in
He
New
left
York.
the crew.
He left us for a gig. So
Yeah.
fuck that dude. But yo, we have one of my favorite DJs here, and I've been trying to get her on the fucking show forever.
This has been a mission of yours for
And
quite some time.
she's really on some VIP bougie, I'm the shit
up.
shit,
White Claw drinking.
you know? But we finally got her here. One of my favorite DJs, DJ Jessica Who. What's good?
Hi.
What's good?
Thank you.
Finally,
Quite
yo.
the welcome.
This took a lot of work.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
It's all my fault.
She would come to Vegas, and I don't know. She would just black out. I wouldn't hear from her.
It's not that.
You guys go hard, though.
I don't.
Because you and Phenom would hang out.
But I was on vacation.
Okay.
So that doesn't
look at the
count.
excuse.
Okay.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, but
I wasn't working. I was on vacation.
Okay. Yeah, but no. I mean, I could not.
Actually, that's
Hang
a
with
lie.
these motherfuckers.
I was working. It was 4th of July.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever.
I couldn't hang with y'all motherfuckers, man. These motherfuckers went to Vegas, her and Phenom and their whole crew, and I was rolling with them. Probably the most white people I ever hung out with at one time.
Yeah. You felt out of place?
No.
No.
But they took me to these small, like, what are dive bars?
They would be.
I thought it was on a
bars.
TV show because they knew every
No, but yeah,
shitty dive
she's
bar.
really into that, though.
Yeah, you're
'Cause
into
I think
that
the last
shit.
time I saw you,
Yeah.
I opened for you at Hyde, and after we went to Tiki Bar,
Yeah.
Oh, Frankie's.
Frankie's. I still have the cup.
Fucking love that place.
Yeah, I didn't even know it existed.
She loves that. And then they're just mixing liquor. I've never, like, you guys mix that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, let's have some, like, whiskey. Oh, let's do some gin. Or that. I'm like, what the fuck?
Fucking explosion.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
man.
feel like it's all the same. Like at this point, if I'm gonna get drunk, like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter
That's
what
a
I
problem.
drink.
It's all the same. No, it's not.
It's not.
No,
all
it's
the same,
not.
yo.
Yeah, but I know what I can handle. Like I don't. Phenom is crazy. He'll drink like tons of tequila and shit. I don't. Do
He
that.
was pretty wrecked that night.
Yeah.
You guys are a ton of fun, though. I
Thanks.
can't hang, though. I got to, like, the third spot, and you guys were like, let's go to blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, I'm going home.
I vaguely
man.
remember being at like some disco bar downtown.
Yeah. I couldn't even fucking hang. Yeah. Y'all motherfuckers go hard.
Thank you.
But she'll be like, I'll send her a text like, yo, you know, let's link up, you know, I want to get you on a podcast. I'll get a text like 2 days later, like, sorry, I
Just went left one night.
I was at a barbecue. And I'm like, wait, what happened?
Yo, I'm
She's like,
trying
you
to
know,
live my life over here.
I just went ham at a barbecue, you know.
She's
that's
going
what
hard
it
in
is.
the
Yeah,
paint.
yeah. She gets down.
Here I am.
But
Finally.
yo, you are.
You had to come across the country.
I know.
To my
and
city.
even
Yeah.
still, it was like
It was like this.
it was up in the air. I was like, yo, I thought Mauricio was gonna be the hard one to
I am
lock down.
so impressed that he was here
Yeah,
Early.
early.
30 minutes early.
Mauricio was
Shout
on
out,
time.
Mauricio.
Yeah. Nah, I was like, Jessica, who? You're like, he was like, you know, man, forget this, man. It's too much work. I'm like, nah.
Because he told me this was.
That's fine. I respect that.
This was the third time we trying to make this happen. So I was just like, yo, bro, you got to give it up.
The
Like,
thing is,
third time's a strike.
This is the third time that I told you about. This is probably like the sixth time.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
you guys
I'm
are
like,
making me
come
look
on.
really bad.
No,
the
no,
thing
no.
is, when I would go to Vegas to work, like I have like my ritual, and I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, let's link up and go out right before the club, and I just go straight to work. Like I just
Yeah.
can't do that.
So what's your ritual?
I have a lot of anxiety.
Okay.
So like I have to be like by myself in the hotel room. I get room service. I go through music for an hour. I get ready. Like, and if people are like, yo, let's do this. Let's go out. Let's hop around. Let's go to dinner before you got to go to work. I'm very like, it just makes me feel
A lot of emotions.
it's too much. Yeah. Any emotions are bad.
Yeah.
It's distracting.
And and also like I fly in and like I have to sleep. I do that thing where like I fly in super early from wherever I was playing the night before, and then like I sleep all day, and then I get up and I do my thing. So like it's hard for me to be like, oh, let me go spend 4 hours of that doing something else, and then go right to work. I don't know. A lot of people aren't like that.
I'm the same way. I can't.
Really?
I try to force myself out. Like the owners want to grab
Yeah.
dinner, the promoters want to grab dinner. I try to do it, but before I used to be like, nah. But I try to do it now, and I try to just juggle it all.
I
And then
used
if
to get.
if you're traveling across country, it's even worse.
It's hard, and I used to get a lot of pressure. Like when I was on Scam, it would be like, "You have to go to the dinner. I don't care. You have to go. You have to go."
That's just Suju, though.
I know.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. And I'm always joking that like my whole career is just a series of trying to avoid promoter dinners. Like that's all my career is.
It's like in DJing, it's just like avoiding motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Do you like being on the road or no?
It kind of depends. It depends on where I'm going. I think it's tough because there were a couple years ago, well, a couple years there and a couple years ago where I was getting like super burned out. Like flying to Singapore for one night.
Yeah.
Flying to Hong Kong for one night. And then, as soon as you land back in Vegas and you play in Vegas that night. And then it was just like emotionally, mentally, physically, it was like way too much. So that kind of shit, like, I can't handle.
Mm-hmm.
The way it is now, I'm not doing it as frequently, I guess, which is good. And that was like a big part of leaving Scam and going to Rich Group and whatever was like, I still want to be able to live my life.
Yeah.
Where I couldn't really do that before. I felt like before I was on the road so much and I would come home and I would be like, what was I doing before this? Like, when you come home from wherever, a long trip, and you're like, what was my schedule? What was my routine? Like, what was I even doing? And it takes you days to get back into your like life,
Yeah.
And I felt like that wasn't good.
So are you from Miami?
Yes.
Because you live in Fort Lauderdale, right?
Now. Yeah. So technically, no, but yeah.
I knew the no was coming too.
What?
I expect
What?
she
We were
said
doing
yes.
research, yeah. We
Well-
were doing research, and you're born in Fort Lauderdale, right?
Yeah, I was. I moved to Miami in 2004 or 5.
Okay.
So I've been in Miami up until a year and a half ago when I bought the house in Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a pretty long time. I consider that being from Miami.
Yeah.
I moved when I was like 17, 18. So, yeah, but people that are like born and raised in Kendall are like, you're not from Miami, whatever. But
Yeah. It was like is it like the New Jersey to New York kind of
Basically,
thing?
yeah.
So like
Yeah, I don't see a big difference from Fort Lauderdale to Miami.
Yeah.
It's like a 10-minute
There
ride.
isn't.
But did you grow up around the whole spring break madness? Was that like around you when you were growing up down there?
Like when I moved to Miami,
No, when you were in like Fort Lauderdale, was that shit around or no?
to be honest, like I didn't even go to high school in Fort Lauderdale. I went to high school in Boca, which is even worse.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I moved to
Yeah.
Boca girl.
Yeah.
So I moved to Lauderdale when I was probably 7. Like it was like the day I graduated high school. I was like, I'm out of here. I'm going to Fort Lauderdale because I had just started DJing. Like like probably the summer between graduating and
It was like
going to
you were
college.
like 17
yeah.
years old, right? Wait, because I have a question.
Yeah.
And I've said this before. I have like a little theory on how most women DJs learn how to DJ. Mm-hmm. And
I have a theory too.
my theory is that they always learn from a boyfriend.
That is also my theory.
Is that how you learned?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. This should be interesting. Because I always warn my boys.
Not to teach their girlfriends
No,
how to
not
DJ
to.
because
I
I
say,
do.
look, if you're gonna teach you that, I think I'm gonna teach my girl to DJ, and I'll
Don't
be
do
like,
it.
look, I think that's great, but just be aware that she might blow up. and
She's gonna be bigger than you.
She's gonna be a bigger DJ than you, and then if you guys break up and she dates like a higher profile guy, you can't be mad at her.
Yeah.
Because you.
I've seen that happen a lot.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
though,
I've
right?
seen that
Yeah.
happen a lot. No, I learned from friends.
Mm-hmm.
DJing was like not something I was even aware of when I was a kid.
Right.
Even through high school, like it was not something at all that I knew anything about at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was just not something I'd ever thought of. I like wanted to be in a band. I was, like
Well, you like played the guitar, right?
I tried
Yeah.
really hard.
Was it like just painful?
I have tiny fingers.
It's fucking painful though, isn't it?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, but that was my thing. Like,
But there's guitar picks.
No,
I
it's
had
still-
no
it's still
patience.
fucking, yeah.
I had no,
Oh, okay.
I was a kid, but that was my whole like sphere. It was like, oh, I want to be in a band. punk rock and all this stuff, whatever. And then I started going out when I was in high school. You know, we were super underage, and we started going out to these, like, I don't know what other way to call them, but like hipster dance parties in Fort Lauderdale. That was like the closest from Boca. And it was like, here come the Boca girls to the Fort Lauderdale dance party, whatever. And it was like, they would throw these parties in these shitty, tiny little, like, gross dive bars. Everyone was underage. And it was like, just sweaty. No one was mixing music well.
What were they playing?
It would be like a lot of throwback stuff. So it'd be like Depeche Mode and like the Smiths and the Cure, but then like whatever was like new, like electronic stuff in 2003 or 4 or something. LCD sound system and I don't know, I'm blanking, but all that stuff. So we started going to that, and we kind of became part of that little scene or whatever, and I became friends with one of the guys that was DJing. And I was super into music, and I was dual enrolling in music theory and stuff like that at FAU. And I would always tell him, play this with that, try this with that. This will sound good. And he's like, I'm sick of this. I'm going to teach you how to DJ. He's like, I'm sick of all your suggestions. Like, just like, you need to do it yourself.
So you had a friend.
Yeah.
And you were that request girl.
I wasn't making requests.
You're like the
I wasn't making requests.
You were like,
I was.
Like, don't make a left here.
But I wouldn't do it like at the party. I would like be hanging out with him and be like, yo, what about this and that? And he'd be like, well, if you have all these ideas, you need to fucking learn.
Oh,
so
you sure you weren't that girl at the party?
I probably was when I was 17 and wasted. Like,
that's dope, though.
yeah. So he just kind of, he was like,
What was his name?
I don't want to say.
Okay,
I really
damn,
don't.
I can bleep it.
She was dating this motherfucker.
No. I just like,
I'll bleep it if you want.
No.
are you
you
guys
don't
still
have to say
cool?
it.
no, I have no idea what happened to him.
Oh, wow.
But the thing is, these people.
Same thing, another broken heart.
Yeah.
She
God
left
bless,
him to
No idea
dry.
what
God bless that king. That king got slayed over there. Got left for
Damn.
dead.
I will say at this time period, there were a couple different people, friends of mine, that would help me out and actually like taught me,
Yeah.
you know, technically and otherwise. But yeah, I just remember him being like, just come this Thursday, come and, you know, I'll show you like the basics. And I remember showing up, and this was like,
Is Serato already? or
no, this was like
Vinyl.
CDs.
Oh, CDs.
These people, this was like the most embarrassing little setup that you've ever seen.
What
But
was
I
it?
didn't know any better. You
Too
know?
sunny, like.
Basically. It wasn't like the rack mounted ones.
No.
I don't remember. It was like the,
2 CD players.
yeah, like
actual
the
CD players.
real old,
Discman?
yeah.
No way.
There's a Walkman.
That's even
2
more.
iPods.
That's even more impressive.
No. It was like CDJs, but just like
Like the first version
the
of
very
them.
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see the CD spinning
Yeah.
to the thing? Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, well, you know, here, just pick a song and play it, and I'm going to go get a drink. And I'm like, what? So I play a song. I have no idea what it was. He takes off to the bar, and I'm like, in full fucking panic.
So this is at a venue.
This was like at the shitty party. I mean,
Wow.
but it's packed with people and kids and shit. And I just remember being like, he basically gave me like a 40-second rundown. He's like, here's how you press play. Here's how the volume goes. Here's a crossfader. See ya. And I'm like, fuck. So I mean, honestly, I barely remember it. I just remember playing a couple songs and being like, oh, fuck, this is great. This is awesome. Like,
had that
people are
feeling.
responding
Yeah,
to
yeah.
it. So it was like, I'm sure it was terrible. If I could go back in time and look at it now, I'd be horrified. But I got that feeling, you know, and that's like basically what we're all chasing for the last 15 years or whatever. So I was like, oh, now I actually want to learn how to do this. And that was it. Like, I never did anything else after
Did all your
that.
friends after the party were like, oh my God, that was amazing.
I don't even remember. It was so long.
They were chanting at the end.
Jessica.
One
Probably,
last
yes.
song.
They
One
lifted me
last
up in a
song.
chair.
Encore.
Yes, it's exactly how it went.
And then how'd you get the equipment? Like, what did you do? This was the boyfriend? No.
Yeah.
No,
Not
no,
yet,
no.
not yet, bro.
This is so shitty. I don't know if I want to tell this story. My grandfather had died like a couple years prior, like
Yeah.
a year prior. My mom was like, well, you know, there's some money. He left you a little bit of money if you want to use it. And I was like, yes, I do. Give it to me. So
That's dope.
that's what I spent my money on.
Ah, that's dope. That's what
yeah.
grandpa. That's what grandpa
sure he was
wanted.
proud.
Yeah.
It's a good investment.
Yeah. Thanks, Grandpa.
Yeah. Just a grand.
15 years later.
What was the first equipment you got? Do you remember?
Oh my God. It was like that really shitty. It was like this big and it kind of went up. I forget what it was called. It might have been,
Was it CDs?
yeah, it was CDs. Because, I mean, that was all I could afford. I mean, the thing was like $500 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, cheap grandpa. Yeah.
My mom didn't let me spend all the money on it.
Okay.
Because I was planning to go to college this was like during the summer. So my plan was to go to college that fall in Orlando, which I did for a little bit.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a real piece of shit. But it was like, you know, I would literally plug it in my bedroom and just like play, like trying to figure it out.
So
you know?
were you burning your own CDs to organize songs?
This is super embarrassing because, like,
I did a part like that. That's why it's funny. To
well,
me.
this is embarrassing because, like, I obviously didn't start the same way, like, almost every other DJ I know did.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't have to be the same turntable and all the good stuff. Yeah, but
I just, like, I know most other open format DJs I know were, like, super into hip hop and doing house parties and like doing banquet halls and shit like that and collecting vinyl, and that's just not the world I came from. So like even now, literally 15 years later, I'm like, I'm a fucking poser.
No,
like,
I'm fake. I'm phony.
Yeah, like I don't belong here. I don't like.
here.
Yeah,
I feel you.
but I mean, that was just not the world I came from. You know, and it wasn't until probably 2007, 8, 9 that I kind of got like thrusted into like open format DJing and like here, learn how to do this now because this is the world you're in.
Right.
And it was kind of like a culture shock. So
when you were doing the CDs, because I can't even lie, when I was on vinyl, I couldn't find certain songs. I literally couldn't find a ton of songs on vinyl.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would have a CD book. All of us did. Even Never had a CD book.
Yeah.
And we would burn certain songs on CDs, but we'd organize it like a rock set, an 80s set.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, we would carry like some Prince songs that we didn't want to like bring with us. So we'd have all of that shit, you know.
Same thing.
And we'd have to learn how to do vinyl and that like that long CDJ rack. It would be this.
Oh, the
the rack with
mounted.
the
Oh, that's
so
a piece of
those
shit.
are the
And
worst.
new music started to become harder and harder to get.
Yeah.
And so it was like I had to depend on burning something or
Both,
finding like
yeah.
a CD single.
And I mean, you know, I learned, obviously I can use turntables. I don't prefer them now because that's just not how I started, but I'm a lot faster on CDJs, but I can do both. It's just not, unfortunately I learned on the other way, you know. So.
Right.
I think what matters more is just the end result of how the DJ is controlling the room, pretty much.
I agree. Some people don't.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, some people are assholes.
I've seen dudes on controllers that I'm just like, wow, that motherfucker's nasty.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you got dudes like Funk Flex that are using controllers
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So that says a lot to me.
Yeah, for sure.
I also have seen dudes, this is like kind of unrelated, but there was a guy from Miami who used to bring a full-size iMac to the club.
Jesus.
I've seen that before.
Yo, I don't know where this dude is at now.
Shouts to you.
Tom LaRock, shout out. He used to bring like a 20-inch iMac like under his arm, just walk into the club with it, and this had to be when Serato like first came out. So,
Jesus
I've
Christ.
seen
wild as
motherfuckers
fuck.
bring a desktop.
That's what it was.
that's what it was.
That's what I'm talking
but
about.
I mean, like, no, like the desktop,
like the tower?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That dude in Vegas, guy, DJ,
I don't know who that is.
shit. I forgot his last name, but he used to do Caramel. And he used to kill it. He
Yeah.
used to fucking murder it. But he'd
Jeez.
bring...
What does he have, like a mouse and the
Yeah, he had he set up the monitor, he set up his tower, and he would just DJ off of that shit.
Fucking Windows
That's wild.
98.
Yeah. On Windows, yeah. It was
nuts.
fucking
I mean, I still
impressive.
see people using like laptops where I'm like, how, you know, that are not Macs or whatever, that are just like old ass PCs, and I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I guess.
You got some PC heads like Warm Peace.
Yeah.
Is
in
he?
Vegas, yeah. He's on fucking
Yeah, he's
PCs.
never been a Mac guy.
I gotta say hi
He
to him.
does.
He
He
just sent
uses,
me a bunch of shit.
He uses
Hi, Warren.
Alienware.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, one of those guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you like build your own shit and
Yeah.
like do the whole
Like the
nerdy thing.
40-pound
Yeah.
Yeah.
laptop. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So how did you, because when I first met you, I went to Miami to do Live. And it was
Yes.
a Wednesday. And
Yeah.
the Wednesday was like a hipster
Yeah.
party.
It was for a while.
And I'm not really a hipster DJ.
What?
Yeah.
So
What
I
are you
couldn't
talking
tell.
about?
so when I went to do the Wednesday, I'm like, this is like Ross One's night. And I was like, I need to get all this electro ready and all this other shit.
Yeah, but it's still live.
It was still
like
live.
it's like, you know.
So then I heard Jessica for the first time, and I was like, I'm gonna head there early, and just listen to what she plays and see what it is. And I was completely floored because I was like, yo, you did that. You opened and closed that room so many times by the time I got into that room, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was like sorry, keep touching this thing. I was like the Wednesday and then sometimes Friday resident. So
Yeah.
it's just like, at that point, I'm like, I can't keep playing the same opening set.
Right.
So
Yeah.
who knows what I was doing then, but I just.
It was great. It was like Eve, Who's That Girl? You know, great song. And then, but
that's like standard opening.
and then she would go into, King Floyd, Groove Me, and then she would go into like Shakira or something crazy. She was just hopping genres, and like no one would think that you could play King Floyd, Groove Me.
Yeah.
It's a good
And
song.
yeah, it's a great song, but no one would think that you could play that at Live.
In a big room, yeah.
So she thoroughly confused me. You know when the
Sorry.
But no. But that's one of the, I think that's one of the greatest things when an opener confuses you, because they're not following an like the expected set of what
Format,
what a DJ does, and they're killing the crowd. And it was a big room. It's an intimidating room if you're first doing it.
Yeah.
And she was so confident, and she was just treating it like
Walk in the park.
just like
That's
like,
how I am on the outside.
yeah.
Inside though, it's
I'm
burning
freaking
up.
out.
Yeah.
House on
But
fire.
she had probably, I would say, one of the top 10 sets of my whole life that I've heard.
Jesus.
And maybe, no, because
Let me
it,
tell you this: expectations with cricket are really high.
no, I mean, I'm pretty. I mean, from that one set, when I got back to Vegas and when I talked to my friends, I'm like, yo, she's probably the best. And I hated to put you in this
I
category.
know, it's fine.
I hate to put you in
It's
this
fine,
category,
it's
but it's
fine.
the truth, right? So I was like, yo, she's probably the best, woman DJ I've ever heard in my life.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
And
Why would I complain about that?
Yeah, no.
and from then on, people would be like, "Yeah, we're looking for like like a cute girl who can DJ," and I'm like, "Yo, this girl can DJ." But it was the easiest thing to say.
Yeah.
It was like, "Yo, Jessica who," and it was like without a doubt, she'll fucking rip it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And were you on Scam at that point, or you weren't?
I don't know. I know that I probably got on in 2011.
Yeah. So probably not. Maybe
I don't-
because I think I was there like.
Actually, that could have been like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about it today because it was kind of a weird, I don't know what you call it, trajectory of like how I ended up on Scam, but I was already playing at Live.
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to remember, like, because I knew a lot of the Scam guys before that. And I think that kind of helped. But yeah, that was probably before that.
How did you get into Live? What was the evolution from the CDJ, the CDs?
I don't know. 5 years happened, and then who knows? I was at Live.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was just playing a lot in Miami, and like I started doing more open format stuff. I started getting away from like the little hipster dance parties and
Yeah.
more into like, and that's kind of when things in Miami really started changing in like 2007, I'd say. We got bottle service clubs. Like that was the year. Pawn Shop was a club that kind of like changed everything for that scene. So it was like the same, hipster dance party kids, but are now going to bottle service clubs. And that was the same era as in LA. You had all the Aoki shit and the Dim Mak stuff and the Banana Split. Yeah. Same era. So all that stuff that they were playing there, it was like parallel.
It was the emergence of like Be More and Electro.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So like that was all happening here, and now we're doing it on a bigger scale at like bottle service clubs. So that kind of changed everything. So that was me like, now you're still doing that kind of like scene, but you're also an open format DJ now, because it was the same time that it was like, now we're playing crazy rock mashups in the club. So it was
Yeah.
like it was all that same time.
Well, at the time, there was no open format, so they were calling it like mashup,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
You were a mashup DJ.
weren't we all? I have to shout out Joe Maz. I have like, I don't know, a gig of all his like old, the craziest mashups you will ever hear in your
Wow.
life. Like super old shit.
He's still like the go-to remix
He is.
producer
Yeah.
for everything.
It's like, you know what you're going to get. It's always going to be good.
I don't anticipate shit either. I think he just released Highest in the Room.
Yeah,
Travis
he
Scott.
did, yeah.
And you know, like when motherfuckers go on Twitter, like, "Yo, I'm about to drop this." I'm usually like, "Get the fuck, no one cares."
But you know you're gonna use it.
yeah, no, but
Joe,
usually,
you know you're gonna use
but
it.
with any other DJ, they're like, "Yo, about to drop this,"
You're
and
like-
you're just like, "I don't." Yeah, so what? Like,
If I
don't
get
really
it, I
care.
get it. Like, yeah.
But with Joe, I was kind of like, "Oh shit, when is he dropping it?" I was like,
Just fucking hit him up. He'll send it to you.
When is the release date?
I was like, I know. I was
Can
like,
I
when
sign
is the
up?
release
So we
date?
gotta wait till 12.
I always tell him he makes like the best club friendly edits
He
that
does.
still doesn't like take away from the originality of the original record.
Exactly.
That's what I
Yeah,
hate. It's like,
yeah.
oh, the beginning of it, like the chorus or whatever, it'll be good, and then it just goes off the rails
Left
into
field
some
somewhere.
crazy shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
who is able to play this anywhere? What club are you working at where this is cool?
Yeah.
Because it's just like left field.
It's not even like musically connected
No.
on some of these remixes, right?
Sometimes I feel like the only way I can describe it is like someone just like changed the channel suddenly. Just
Yeah.
like, whoops. And that's how it sounds.
Yeah.
Not to call anybody out.
But yeah, his is usually it just blends and
It works.
and it escalates it to how we would want it
Yeah.
escalated in a big room.
Yeah,
You know, yeah.
exactly.
So you was a mashup girl.
I was a mashup.
From Boca.
So were you
Add insult to injury.
so yeah, the
Boca.
bulk up mashup girl.
A Boca mashup girl DJ.
God damn it.
Yo, bulk
The
up.
best though. The best.
All these Boca DJs is like, yo, Jess is repping, yo.
Yeah. Gang gang.
I don't
So-
know if I know any.
They're out
This is a
there.
bad sign.
Trust me, they're out there.
Yeah. Yes.
So were you always playing hip hop? Did you know hip hop?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
So that's what.
That's so crazy.
That's why it's weird. Because
Yeah.
like, if people ask me now, I feel like I'm 85% like primarily a hip hop DJ.
Yeah.
But that's not where I came from, and that wasn't natural to me. I didn't grow up listening to hip hop. Like I would catch it here and there. There was stuff I liked, like in, everyone was listening to Tupac when I was in like 6th grade, and Biggie and all that stuff. But like,
And what were you listening to?
I was listening to that stuff because it was on the radio, and like it was cool to listen to.
Yeah.
But I, was listening to like. I told you not to put me on the spot.
Okay. I won't do it.
But I mean, I was always just super into like rock based stuff. So like
yeah.
punk and old punk, and then like I want to say like not super cheesy. Like I wasn't like listening to Buckcherry or anything, but
Like the Strokes or something
yeah.
like that.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in high school, that was super big. It was
Yeah. Like White Stripes, all that stuff.
all that
yeah.
stuff was like huge then. So yeah, hip hop was not like the natural
Yeah.
progression, but somewhere in between like the whole mashup era into. Is that an ice
Yeah.
cream truck?
Yeah. I was,
Do you hear that?
Yeah. Did you hear that?
No.
No,
Go get me a rocket pop.
I thought I was tripping.
Holy shit.
Dog, I took off the headphones because I was like, "Who's playing music?" I'm like, "Well,
That's
somebody
ice cream
in
truck.
here."
Dope.
Yeah, it's definitely an ice cream truck.
Is he gone?
That's when you know you're in the hood area, right?
See? I told you.
We're in the hood.
Either hood. Or, why did I hear it
Don't,
first?
I heard it, but I was like,
There's
am I
no-
going insane?
There's no fucking ice cream trucks in nice neighborhoods, yo. It's only in the
No.
I'm gonna
hood.
grab us some ice cream sandwiches real quick.
Don't let this house fool you. We're in the hood.
Jess, which one you want?
I want a rocket pop. Anyway.
Yeah. So, but you play hip hop so well.
No, well, thank you.
Yeah.
But I think that
Are you really getting ice cream? Where are you going?
run, hurry up.
No, you play it so well.
Now
But
it's
you're like a poser.
yeah,
Oh, shit.
yeah. I feel like I'm a poser with everything. It doesn't
Nah.
matter. Now it's very natural to me, but I think that's just it's from just kind of being pushed into like DJing became something so different than what it was when I started. Like for me personally, and just the whole nightclub scene, like totally changed from from 2004 to like 2008.
Yeah.
It changed completely. So I think it was just by force, just like being completely immersed in that world.
What
And
was-
I really was like just learning.
Yeah. What was the first gig where you're like, shit, I got to get hip hop?
It definitely didn't happen like that.
Yeah. That abruptly?
Yeah. I was, because like when I wasn't DJing, I was spending a lot of time watching other DJs and
Right,
like in
right.
places in Miami, watching DJs that I loved.
Like who would we?
I mean, Conflict is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was like your big deal, like open format Miami guy.
Yeah.
and actually an ex-boyfriend. No, this guy I dated for 5 years. He's like a really fucking awesome, like, local hip hop DJ. He's just one of those guys that's like super reliable. You know, you're going to go in and hear like a really good set, and also doing that Miami marathon set 11 to 5.
Yeah.
And like being able to pull it off and like keep, you know, the party
energy.
going all night. Yeah. So just being in that kind of scene and watching people that I liked, I'm like, okay. It wasn't that I was like completely blind to it. At this point, I was in my early 20s, so I was like in it and going to clubs and stuff. I wasn't like, what is this song? You know, like I was around it, but but there was definitely a point where like it changed, and when clubs became like primarily hip hop based. I think this is around the time that I was on Scam, or like getting on Scam, and basically Suge was like, "You're a hip hop DJ now," and I was like, "Okay," you know.
Wow, yeah.
And I would have preferred that to being like, I think a lot of the girls at the time when I was on it were in like the dance music division, which, you know,
the electronic
I was like,
division.
I was like, I'd rather be in the regular. I'm a regular DJ, you know. I don't want to be like pigeonholed into that. So,
well, I mean, hip hop is technically the first. Well, it's the first open format, right?
Yeah.
But people just didn't want to call it hip hop because it had like
a stigma
being like hood or like black.
And I mean, that still happens, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, so they came up with a name called open format. It was called mashup before.
Yeah, and then you put Hall & Oates under it, and it's okay. It's all good now.
So like so how did you get into Live though? So like what were the club stages?
I honestly don't.
And was it hard for like a woman DJ to get into the game, or not really?
I think that's two separate issues.
For sure.
I think with Live, so when they started doing that Wednesday party, it was the people throwing it were the people that I had been working with for a really long time doing like the hipster parties. They were just like, hey, we're opening this huge new club. Do you guys want to take over a Wednesday night? Like, they're not losing much, you know, to give them a Wednesday. And at that time, that stuff was super popular and kind of like trendy to do. So it was like, actually I just did their 20-year anniversary party last Saturday. This kind of crew called Pop Life. Mm-hmm. So they've been around in Miami for 20 years.
Wow.
Just throwing like these crazy hipster parties and then booking like concerts and all kinds of events and stuff. So they were doing the Wednesday night, and because I had been one of their DJs, they were like, here, we're going to do this. And it kind of went through different iterations. Like initially it was Danny Days and then Contra, and then it was like me and Contra, and then me and Ross, and it kind of just like changed. And it went from there, and then I think after I left, Mike Deuce and Ruin. So just from being there, doing that, they started putting me on Fridays, and, you know, it was just like, I got used to it, and I was a resident, and it was kind of my home for a while.
Was it nerve-wracking the first time you did it?
I don't know if it was, I don't remember the first time I did it, which means it was probably nerve-wracking because I like blocked it out.
Right.
But it was nerve-wracking the entire time I did it, and not because of the room.
I heard like hilarious horror stories about Dave Grutman.
They're true.
Yeah,
they're all true, and that's what I was kind of alluding to. And I don't want to like.
No, but
I love the guy, but
yeah. Well, he's like a superstar now. He's like a celebrity. Yeah, but I heard horror stories about guest DJs getting pulled. Yeah, after
and that all happened.
10 minutes.
Yeah, that happened.
And like one of our homies was DJing there.
Who?
From San Diego. Yeah. And I think I remember we had this conversation. He's like, I played Snow Informer, and Dave Grutman came up to the booth and yelled at me and said, what the fuck are you playing this for? Blah, 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 blah.
I mean, that's standard.
And, you know, he only played it for a second and got out of it. And he was just like, yo, like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is that? And I was just like, why are you playing Snow Informer anyway?
First of all, let's address the issue at hand.
No, but I mean, is an amazing DJ.
Yeah.
But you know, he has that like kind of like fun, comical style too. He likes to play fun shit.
Well, I'll play like novelty shit every once in a while. Like,
but Dave Grutman had a list.
I know.
Of songs.
I know.
And I just remember like a G6.
That's like the infamous song.
and
That
it
was
was-
the infamous song that
Well, like
nobody was
a
like.
list of like not to play.
What
Do
not
not
to play.
Wow.
And
Do
it's-
not
if
play
you
song.
play that, you got pulled.
Yeah.
So, but like no one got the warning.
There was no. The list was hypothetical and like somewhat
Yeah.
mythical. It was never on paper, so you never knew what was on it that day.
Yeah.
Except for that song.
But it only got on the list because like 3 DJs got pulled or something, right? Or
There
a
were-
few DJs got pulled.
Yeah, but the
because
thing
of the
is,
song.
there was no like. It was never on paper. Nothing was ever in stone.
Right.
There was no real list. It was just like, oh, it's on the do not play list, and it would change from day to day.
Right.
You know, it was never.
But that was the one, right? That
That
he
was
hated.
the big one, which is.
And it was a big song.
It was
at the-
such a big song at the time. It was a huge
Yeah.
song.
That song went on for like a year.
It did.
This
That
is what,
song
2008 that song came
sucks.
out?
Had to be.
I low
around
key
then.
hated that song. though.
The song sucks, but that's not the point. Like we have to play that shit, you know. Yeah. So it would just be stuff like that would randomly happen. And I remember I was playing once, and I was playing Bingo Player's "Cry."
Great song.
Pretty generic
Yeah.
dance song.
Yeah.
Big room, fine, whatever. Did not like it. Didn't like it. Got the tap. Got yelled at.
So did he come up to you or did the manager come up to you?
He would always come up to me.
Uh-huh. And he would just yell.
All the managers were like the staff there was awesome.
Yeah.
Like everyone there was super cool. It really did feel like a home for a while, you know.
But did he yell at you or did he just look at you like, take this shit off?
Dave's version of yelling. First of all, he didn't have to like come up behind me and tap me. Like there would be times because you know, on that Wednesday we were on the stage, not in the booth.
Yeah.
So you're facing the big Titanic stairs or whatever. That's like. So I would see him like run down the stairs. I don't know where he was coming from, but run down the stairs, and he has a very distinctive walk and everything. And I could just see him out of the corner of my eye, and my whole body would tense up. I'd be like, "Okay, get ready," and then he would run up the stage and be like, "Don't ever fucking play this again." Da da da. I'm like, "All right," except for that one time, he goes, "Delete this from your computer right now."
And it was the bingo player?
Yeah. And he's like standing behind me waiting for me to delete it from my computer. And I'm like,
Select,
dude,
control, delete.
what the fuck? Yeah, and I'm like, yo, I just kind of laughed it off. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it later. Like, no, like, what?
He's like, I'm waiting.
Yeah. And he was like, do it right now. I'm waiting. I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. So shit like that would happen. And I remember it was just, I never took it personally. Like, I knew not to take it personally. A lot of other people did, especially out of town DJs.
Right.
I knew that it had nothing to do with me. I was just standing at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I remember the first time that it happened to Contra, which I don't know if you guys are aware of him, but he's like this really highly respected Miami DJ.
Definitely heard of him. I don't think I've ever met him, but yeah.
He was MIA's DJ, tour DJ for a while. Like, awesome dude. Crazy eclectic taste in music and the way he DJs, but he's also a little sensitive. And that happened. I remember the first time it happened to him, and he was like super upset and like took it really personally. And I was like, man, you cannot take that shit personally, especially in this environment. Like, everyone's crazy in this environment. It's like working in a restaurant, you know? I was like, you can't take that shit personally. It's just like, he's just firing bullets. And if
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
standing there, you're going to get hit by one. It's just the mood that you're in at the time of the day of whatever. That's all it is, you know?
It's a battlefield that, like, at a club that large,
Yeah.
it's like.
And when it had
you know,
just opened,
Yeah.
you know, so.
they're like smoothing out the kinks, figuring out
Yeah.
the music direction.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he's like super chill now. I mean, how long is he? Might be a little.
He's
I
still
mean,
not a chill dude, but he, you know, it's.
He seems super chill
Yeah,
on
he be
Instagram.
He be doing classes and shit.
Yeah, but the thing is, I would never describe him as having a chill personality. He's like
Yeah.
a big personality.
Yeah.
But yeah, he seems like he's got his babies now and his supermodel wife, and
Yeah.
things seem to be going
He's
really
on his,
well.
Like, he's on his like jet boat.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
he's like hanging out with Khaled.
yeah.
He's what? Didn't he have like a collab with like a brand?
Oh, I saw that. It was the what's the tennis one?
Yeah, I don't
Prince.
know. Prince.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's
so-
like hanging out with like Ronnie
Yeah.
Fig, Alec Monopoly is always
He's
with
living
him.
the life,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I think back then, I mean, this was almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
This was maybe over 10 years ago. So, like, it was probably a very stressful position to be in for him. And it was for all of us. Like, it was the first time I played in a room that big.
Yeah.
Clubs like that didn't exist besides Mansion and like.
But did it click in your head that like, holy shit, I'm DJing at the hottest club maybe in the country at that time?
At the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. But like I said, I have a lot of anxiety about like everything. Like I have anxiety about playing like small rooms. So
DJs don't talk about the anxiety.
No, they don't.
No. I have.
It's real.
To this day, I just did Wall, right? On Tuesday.
I love that room.
It's a fun room.
It's such a good
system.
size. Yeah.
And they have the best monitor speakers for the DJ.
Yeah.
They do.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
insane.
That's
Yeah.
really nice.
It sounds like usually I got to go.
I'm like blowing that shit.
Yeah, yeah, no,
I'm like Mauricio deaf.
He mentioned that too.
I am.
He's deaf in one ear.
He's like, I'm deaf.
I am. Close.
I'm literally like at level 9 usually, and there I'm at like level
Yeah.
6, 5. Yeah.
I just did Dare last week, and the guy's like, watch out with the monitors. I was like, okay. I was at like a 1.5. I'm like, holy shit,
Yeah.
which is good.
Loud. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, even when I did Wall, and I've done Wall a ton of times,
Yeah.
I still get super nervous.
I do too.
I like people don't realize how nervous I get, and because maybe I don't seem like I'm nervous.
Yeah.
But inside, I'm like,
You're cool as a cucumber, man.
I'm like dying.
Well, that's
Like,
exactly
literally.
why I have like my little.
Ritual.
It's like, to me, it's like meditation. All I'm doing is watching like Law and Order and eating room service. But like, because everything's so crazy
Yeah.
for such an extended period of time, like it's, lights and sounds and people and drunk, and it's so much stuff coming at you. I feel like I just have to be in like silence before that.
Right.
So
I completely agree.
Yeah.
That's how I like to be, but I've learned to just go with the motions.
Well, I think it
yeah.
depends. Like if I'm playing at a place where I play all the time and it's like my friends and I'm super comfortable,
Yeah.
I don't mind. Like I'll go out, I'll do my thing before that, I'll hang out. I don't get that anxious. But if I'm traveling, if it's somewhere I've never played before, tomorrow night I play at Live and I don't play there regularly anymore. It's like every other month or a couple of months or whatever. I get fucking nervous. Like I
Yeah.
do. And that's just.
But that was your home, yo.
And
That was it?
it's still like when I walk in, it's awesome. When I walk in, it's still the same people, and it's great.
That's dope.
And everyone, sorry, I'm burping White Claw.
It's all good. You're human.
But it still feels great and comfortable, and everyone makes me feel awesome when I walk in there. But I'm still looking at a room of 400 people or whatever with this massive ceiling, so my brain is just like, freak out, you know. And I mean, sometimes for the first like 15 minutes I'm playing like that, I'm like this, and I just can't I can't help it. And then once you get warmed up and you're into it, you're like, all right, I need a shot. Now we're good.
Do you think? Sometimes I do this. I tend to overdrink just to get the anxiety down.
Yeah.
It depends on where I am.
Yeah?
Because I pretty much stopped drinking when I travel because I got so sick of being hungover on airplanes.
Ooh.
And
That's brutal.
like just super hungover, like trying to get out the door to the airport at 7 a.m. or whatever. Like I got so sick of that. So unless it's like Scottsdale or like somewhere where I'm with like people I know that are like drink, I really avoid it. At home, yeah. At home where I'm more comfortable, maybe if I'm not driving.
Do you guys do you do that, D, or no? When you go out of town?
Yeah, especially if it's somewhere I've never played.
Yeah.
The nerves kick in.
Yeah.
And then when I get to the club and I'm in the booth and the opener's playing and I'm like just observing.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, it's almost game time, and then the nerves really kick in.
Yes.
So sometimes I'll just take a step back and then maybe take a shot.
Yeah.
Kind of like loosen up, you know what I mean? And it helps. And then as I get going, I might take another one to take the edge off. And then after that, I'm good.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm all right.
I'm weird. Like if I won't take a shot before I start
Yeah.
for whatever, maybe
really?
I should start doing that. Cause I'll like start and then I realize I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
you're starting, you're getting warmed up. Now I will literally turn on and be like, I need a fucking shot right now.
Yeah.
Like, 15 minutes into it. So
It's funny because sometimes I'll be at a venue, those venues that like don't take care of you at all.
Yeah.
When you like,
you're just like begging a light guy to help you.
there's like no one greeting you.
Yeah,
Like no
no
one,
manager,
no
no
nothing.
point of contact.
You talk
Like,
to the security, you're like, yeah, the booth's over there,
Yeah.
and they're just like, hi.
I've never been here before. Can you show me?
And the opener is just like, yeah, what's up, man? And you're like, okay, I guess I'm alone in this world.
Yeah.
And then like I just have to start DJing.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I need a drink. I need a shot to like settle down. And sometimes
like,
I don't
ooh.
get the shot. And then I'm 10 minutes in and I'm like, shit, I'm good.
You're fine, yeah.
I'm like, oh,
It
yeah,
goes
I need
away.
that.
That's
Yeah.
what happens because I feel like if I don't know where I'm at and there's no one really maybe assisting me, I better get this shot now before I start, because I know once I
Yeah,
start,
that's a
I'm
good
not going to
point.
bother trying to find who's what. And you know what I mean? I'm just
Yeah.
going to focus on DJing at that point.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And then it's always at those clubs. I'll be like an hour and a half in, like maybe 30 more minutes in my set, and then someone will come up like, "Do you want a drink?"
I'm like,
oh
"Do you
my
want
God,
something?"
you
Like,
want a
yeah.
where
drink?
were you
Yeah.
2 hours
I
ago?
know. I'm just like, yeah, what the fuck? Yeah.
No, not anymore.
Yeah, I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
I'm straight. Yeah. But do you remember the time? This was actually, I didn't realize how special it was, but I thought it was a lot of fun. It was when you, me, Ross One, and I want to say Homicide, Craig Anthony were DJing at Live together.
Yes.
Was there one more?
We did a
person?
couple of those. I do remember that. We were in the booth side. That was like a Friday or Saturday night.
I don't know. It was a scam takeover,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I think it was a holiday weekend.
Somebody
I'm not
else
sure.
was there, and I don't remember who.
I don't remember who.
There's
That's
a
really
picture.
fucked up, though, right?
There's-
That we
yeah,
forgot somebody.
Whoever you are, I'm sure
it
you
was
did great.
It was Sean Perry.
Oh,
Sean.
Hi,
There you go,
Sean. I'm sorry. I love
so
you.
it was Sean, Ross One, Homicide, you, and me.
Yeah.
Because it was always 5 in the takeover,
yeah.
right?
There's a picture of that night somewhere.
Yeah. I think
Of
so.
us.
Yeah. But it was like all just tremendously great sets.
Yeah.
That was
And
a
I
fun
think
night.
I had to close it out.
Yeah.
And Dave Grumman doesn't know me.
Yeah.
But he was there that night, and I was like, fuck, like, he's going to yell at me. Because I was the last dude, and no one got yelled at.
Yeah.
We made it almost.
And yeah, I was like, yo, we actually, I think motherfuckers
Bring it
killed
home.
I thought we killed it, yo. So, like, after
Everybody's
Ross,
at the finish line waiting for you.
yeah,
You can do it.
And he fucks it up.
And he's chasing you behind. It's like Donkey Kong.
this is actually where I think actually Ross kind of respected me a little bit because I had to play last,
I'm still trying for that.
and it was hard. I was like, everyone played everything, and Ross was literally like, I don't
That
know,
is tough.
I don't know what you're gonna play right now, and I don't know what happened that night, but I actually pulled off a pretty decent set, and it was like fun, and I was like, yo, the vibes were just dope.
Yeah.
And then Grutman came up, and I was like, fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, damn. And then he just tapped me on the shoulder. He was just like, I think he thought I was somebody else. And he was just like, shook my hand with 2 hands. He's like, so glad to have you here. And I was like, oh, I was like,
I mean,
thank
who
you.
cares? Who cares who we thought you were?
It freaked me out, yo.
Yeah.
See,
And then-
even that, he's super intense. That's what I'm saying.
It freaked me the fuck out. And then he was like, let's do a picture. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then we took
Jessica, take the picture.
Yeah, I remember that. I think I did.
Yeah, you did. And I took the picture, and I was like, and then he, he went away, and I was like,
Just
does he
like
know
that.
who the fuck? Like, what was that? That was like
Yeah.
really weird. But I was so, my heart was like beating so fast. I was like,
Yeah.
he's
Pause.
about to pull me, and it's like
We almost made it.
it's like only like an hour left in the club, and you're about to pull me.
Damn.
That would have been a nightmare, yo.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, but
Like,
that-
even when he's like, he'll come up and be super sweet, but it's
Yeah.
just very intense, no matter what,
I mean, that's why he's such a character on Instagram
He is, yeah.
and whatnot.
He's definitely a character.
So then you signed a scam,
Yeah.
and yo, I mean, you were blazing hot. You was killing the game.
But I feel like that's just kind of like default when you jump on Scam. For like the first 2 years, you're like, and
That's not default.
That's not default.
really,
I could
because I
talk
saw it
about-
happen to a bunch of people.
Some
like
people,
after me.
No.
After I
no.
left.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know about
I think a lot of it had
When
to
did
do
you
with
leave?
I left in 17?
No, I don't think so.
17.
I think
I've
it-
been with Rich Group like 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody had like a run like 2 years after.
No, you did.
No,
You-
no,
you
not
did
after
do-
I left, just like
During
while I was still there.
No,
yeah.
you did.
Oh.
You was killing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why I said I was super fucking burned out. But
Yeah.
also, something that people don't know is A, how I got on Scam, but B, when I joined, like my first conversation with Sujit, at that point, there were no girls left. Like, Kiss had left, I think, and Sky was the only one
Oh,
there.
that's right.
So Sujit basically,
Kiss was on Scam. I forgot.
she was,
Yeah.
and then she had just left to go with MOS. I
At
forget.
DGI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sujit's on the phone with me, and he's like, yeah, so basically I'm going to bring you on to take on the gigs that want a female DJ that Sky Neller doesn't want to take. I swear to God. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Am I getting Sky Neller pay? Shit.
Nope. Essentially, it was like, you're going to take the lower paying gigs that she doesn't want.
You're the brunette Skynella.
Yeah.
And in my head,
The B grade.
knowing her and having like DJ'd with her, I was like, Okay.
Yeah.
Because to me, I was like, all right, if I can get my foot in the door doing this, and then I, go play these clubs and it goes well,
Yeah.
then I don't have to worry about that. I'll do my own thing, which essentially is, I think, what
you did, yeah.
happened. Yeah. So
It was so easy for us to recommend you because we knew you had the chops to like hold it down.
Yeah.
You were like a DJ's DJ for real.
thanks, guys.
I agree.
Yeah. I heard you a couple times when you would do Vegas. I think you
Yeah.
did Excess.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
I
was
believe
just
the first time I heard you was at Tao.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was fucking nerve-wracking, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's another version of Live, right?
Yeah.
That's another.
There's another situation there.
That's another story on. That's another story
man.
there.
Well, I had never seen someone rock CDJs as well as you had.
Oh.
Because I think at the time, predominantly, it was still the
Yeah.
902 turntables
Yeah.
with Serato. You came in and it was CDJ set up and you killed it.
And I think thank you. I think that's just why, like, now when people ask me, it's like, now at this point, I'm just so much faster. Like, I make a lot of like split second decisions that I wouldn't feel comfortable doing on turntables at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I can do it, but it's not going to be like amazing.
Have you ever heard Stretch Armstrong? You never heard Stretch Armstrong DJ, right?
I know him.
You know him,
I
right?
love him.
You remind me of your style.
Really?
Yeah. It was like so.
I love him so much.
It was like quick mix, but it was so flawless.
Smooth.
It was so smooth. It was like, yeah, it was just like every song blended together.
Wow.
Everything matched. The energies was just
the thing
great.
is also,
you know?
like, I don't really scratch, so
No.
like that's all I have is
That's all you need.
playing like a clean, fun set. Like, that was all I ever
Yeah.
wanted to do.
Yeah.
It was great. It was like, to me, that's the kind of DJing I like to hear.
Yeah.
Like, really clever, great song selection. Like, just surprising me. Like every other song is like a surprise.
I think I do that also because I get bored,
Yeah.
and like I have to do things to, like, I do a lot of like setup where, like, here, I'm gonna play this for 8 bars and then boom, because I get bored and I want to play shit that's like, you haven't heard this in 15 years or whatever. I mean, I love when DJs do that.
And you're tapped in. Always feel like women DJs are more tapped into what girls want to hear.
I don't know.
Because guys can be like a little too. Like,
Maybe
you know what I mean?
Maybe that's the case, but I've also been told before that I'm not playing for girls, and I'm like, I was like, if I were in the club right now, I'd be happy, but maybe
Did a guy tell you that?
no.
Oh,
Yes, Jules told me that.
really?
Hashtag. Yes,
Really?
Jules.
Yes, Jules.
The queen of Snapchat.
Yeah. This was years ago, but I was playing and I was playing and she wasn't supposed to be there. Like, she wasn't hosting. It wasn't her night or anything, but she had to film something for like Forbes magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And, so she decided to do it where I was playing.
Yeah.
And so she's like in the booth on the mic, just like, for the film crew and whatever, like pretending like, okay, this is kind of what I do. And then she's like, you need to play more for the girls. Drop something for the girls right now. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm doing a thing here. Like, I'm in the middle of something,
Right,
like
right.
I'm in the middle of a situation. So I just remember being told that.
She didn't say that on the mic, right? She said
No,
it
to me,
oh.
but
Do you remember what you were playing?
I don't know. I was probably playing like racks or something.
Yeah.
I'm playing like party hip hop in the 70 BPM range,
The girls
but
love
Yeah.
the racks.
I enjoy that song.
Yeah, it's a nice song.
But whatever. I was just playing like party shit. And
Yeah.
she's like, you need to play this and that and this and that. And I'm like,
Do you remember what she was trying to have you play?
no, I mean, Work by Rihanna had just come out.
Okay.
But I'm like, it's a slow fucking record.
Right.
Like, it's faster technically, but it's a slow record. So I'm like, I'm getting to a place
I'm on
here.
I'm in my turn up right now.
Yeah.
Like, you're not in the
Let me get
wine
to the
stuff.
hundreds and then I'll
Right.
play all the girl
Stop
shit.
trying to
Like,
curate
Yeah.
the vibe over
Yeah.
here.
isn't that her thing?
That's her thing.
But she is
the
she's a
curator of the
curator.
vibes.
Yeah, okay.
Hashtag Vibes
Yeah.
Tuesday.
But
whatever
afterwards,
it
you guys became best friends,
Yes,
right?
we are still best friends to this day.
Nice.
was. I believe you.
was she a bridesmaid at your wedding?
Oh, I didn't have a wedding yet. It's
didn't?
next year. I got married, but I didn't have a wedding.
Yeah.
But she will be. This is me officially asking her to be my maid of honor.
Damn. So you
Jules.
never heard back from her after that?
No.
No.
I mean, I wasn't like,
She didn't want to be her friend.
I don't, yeah.
She
I
didn't
don't
want
know
to be
her.
the curator of the vibes.
Wait. So when you joined Scam and you got the Suja talk,
Yeah. The old Suja talk.
what do you call it? And you didn't even take that personal. You were just like,
No,
whatever.
not at all. For me, it was like, I was happy to be there.
Yeah.
I wanted to be there. Previously, R.O.A.D was managing me.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit.
So
That's dope.
yeah, so I had just been DJing around Miami, and he had his own little agency called R.O.A.D, and it was just Miami DJs. So I kind of had that like connect through him, and the catalyst, like I know for a fact, the ultimate catalyst was I did the Red Bull 3 style in 2011.
You did? I never heard of that. Really?
That was not
Talk
under
about
research at all.
Fucking nerve-wracking bullshit. I am not a battle DJ. I cannot believe I ever did that or agreed to do it
I don't even. I'm actually shocked that you did that.
Yeah.
on turntables.
On turntable.
Yeah.
Wow.
She didn't even bring the see-through CD players.
Who
left those at home.
convinced you to do that? I know a bunch of DJs must have told you
No,
to
I don't
do it.
remember.
No?
It was somebody from Red Bull, and then what's funny is one of the DJs that was like trying to convince me to do it was A-Train, who's like a local guy here, who's really is like a good party DJ. But I was just like, dude, that's not my thing. Like, I don't fucking do that. And he's like, at the time it was still kind of new, you know? It was like, you're just party rocking. You're just mixing records. I'm like, yeah, but it's 15 minutes and you got to do all this crazy shit and it's on turntables. And it's like, why put myself through that? You know?
And it wasn't like the turntablist thing that it was like the beginning of it.
That was just like, you're party rocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
It wasn't what it is now with this whole turntablist
And
J.S. Spinoza.
Tone
yeah.
Play and
Yeah.
Zach and all that, like, no.
And it was just the beginning before anyone knew what it was. Yeah.
So I did that, but I think part of the reason I agreed to do it was because it was at Live on a Wednesday.
Okay.
So I kind of felt like I had home court advantage. Like
Right.
at this point, I was like, I'm walking into my place. You know, this is at least I'm comfortable being on this stage.
Yeah.
You know, I was definitely not prepared for what it was. So I don't know how the fuck I did this. I placed third, maybe because I'm a girl.
Who knows?
Could have been. Don't care. What I do know is that Sujit was judging. Laz was judging.
Wow.
DJ Laz. I don't remember who the third judge was. But I remember the very next day, I got 2 phone calls. One was from DJ Laz. I don't know how he got my phone number. But I remember missing it and getting a voicemail. It was like, yo, Jessica, this is DJ Laz from Power 96. And I'm like, in my head, I've been recording your mixes on a boombox since I was like 10.
Yeah.
Like, I know who this is. You
You're
know?
like, I want tickets or something.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
calling back.
And he's like, I heard you last night. I thought you were great, and I want to talk about having you play on the radio. And I'm like,
Ooh.
what?
So,
Craziness.
yeah.
And then that's how the whole Sujit thing happened.
With Scam.
Yeah, because I had kind of been trying to get Irie to, like, I don't know if the correct word is like let me go,
Right.
but I was like, I think it's time for me to move up, move on, whatever.
Progress,
Yeah.
yeah.
And at that point, like I was tight with Graham and Stone and Vice and Homicide and Ross, and I'd met you. I keep hitting this thing.
And they're all on Scam, right?
Yeah, and I was like friends with everybody from opening for them constantly.
Right.
So I kind of was like, I loved Irie, and I was so grateful to him, but it was also like, I think it's time to, can you help me? And I think there was like a stagnant period there where he like didn't want to let me go.
He's also, he's such a big artist too. Like he's
Yeah.
the main focus, you know.
Oh,
what I mean?
he is.
He's doing a lot. You know?
Yeah. And I loved him, and he helped me out so much. I don't think that I would be anywhere that I went or am now if
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
for him. So, but after that 3 style, something happened. Some like backroom negotiations happened or something where Irie and Sujit had a talk, and like the next day Sujit was like, all right, come on, let's go. Like, get in, let's go. I was like, all right.
Get in the car.
Yeah, basically.
Get in, loser,
So that's
we're
how that
going
happened.
shopping.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
So then you got on Scam.
Yeah.
And I want to know, and then you got all of Skyneller's,
I don't know if like that like actually ever happened.
Yeah.
Like I have no way of knowing if she actually turned down gigs that I ended up
I think that's
taking,
just Sujit's way of kind of
keeping me down.
keeping you.
Because her gigs were like fashion gigs and stuff, and like
Yeah.
I never did that. So,
yeah, I don't know what Sujit has a way of.
yeah.
He wants to like
I know.
he wants you to understand who's boss and
Yeah. So
I'm not working for you. You're working for me.
Which was funny because coming from Irie, like the whole spiel that I got from him when I remember sitting down in his office with like him and his team and him being like, I'm working for you. Like, you tell me what you need. I'm here for that. Like, just, he told me everything that he knew a DJ would want to hear, probably based on his own experience, not hearing what he wants to hear. So he came in with like everything. And I'm like, yes. Then when I got on Scam, it was like, okay, like I'm nothing here. Like you're in charge. I work for you, I guess, and give you a percentage of my money. Yeah.
You just joined the battalion, pretty much.
So that was that. And, you know, it was fine. I was like, all right, I'm where I want to be for right now.
Yeah.
That's fine, you know.
But we saw you doing your thing, and I was like, we were all super happy and proud. You know, we were like, yo, she's doing it, and she deserves it all. And you got like a Dove commercial.
Oh God, that was so weird.
No, it was great.
Oh God,
we were like, all like,
Yeah.
When it came out, we were like, oh shit, Dove commercial.
Yeah, I remember just randomly seeing it on TV. I was like,
The
oh,
MTV
wow.
thing.
Okay.
I want to know what the bag was for the Dove commercial. What was the bag?
Really?
Yeah. Was
You
it
wanna
hefty?
know?
Was it hefty?
It's 20,000.
Woo!
Oh, dope.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
But like,
Did you have to
it was
shower with?
no, they didn't give me any soap. But it was like it wasn't. It was such a weird like cross branding thing. It was like MTV and Dove,
Yeah.
and then like with the VMAs. So it was like
Big.
4 months of like me having to fly weird places and do weird gigs for weird crowds, and then like go show up at the VMAs and like just do weird interviews and shit that I was like, I don't want to be on TV. This is not my thing. Like, I don't know how I got here, but you know, there was a couple things like that was 2011. That was like, that year was the year of me doing things that made me feel like I was losing my mind.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
The
'Cause it was-
freestyle, like, because all of that shit was so far outside of my comfort zone,
Right.
Like so far that I look back and I'm like, how did you ever make it through
But
that?
don't you
Like,
think that's when you like kind of achieve greatness somehow? Is
I
when
guess
you know.
if you want to call it that.
Getting
I
a
did
Dove
it.
commercial is greatness, yo.
Yeah.
To me.
No, it was just like, I don't know.
I mean, but those are things that you don't ever see a DJ doing.
Yeah.
So something like that, to
I
me,
guess.
that's a big accomplishment. And I'm
See,
sure other
from-
DJs saw it that way.
In my heart, I was like, damn, this is like some.
It was groundbreaking.
Well, when Rocticon was kind of killing it,
Yeah.
he was in like Complex magazine. He was doing like,
Yeah, but that's cool.
I mean,
Wait, Dove is cool. Don't fucking Dove. I use Dove.
I do too.
to him it wasn't. You know what I mean?
Oh, because nothing's cool enough for Rocticon.
Yeah, I know. But he was doing.
He's like, yeah.
I want
whatever,
to say he was in
Complex.
was it a Vans commercial or a Vans ad? He was in some type of ad for a G-Shock. Maybe it was G-Shock.
Probably.
I don't know what it was, but it was like in a Complex magazine. He was like getting featured here and there. I was like, yo, like,
Wait, wasn't Caper just in a Jaguar commercial?
was she?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry, but yes,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she was.
What I was trying to say is that like we felt like one of our own made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when we saw you in the Dove commercial, we were like, yeah, like, you know, one of us.
It's
made
just
it,
so
you know?
strange because to me it's like, what am I doing here? I'm a
Yeah.
DJ. Like, what am I doing here the whole time?
Yeah.
You know,
You're doing greatness.
But the commercial made sense. The way they tied it into DJing and
I don't even remember the commercial. I just remember like the whole.
Can we watch the commercial again?
yeah, I remember it verbatim.
Was there a bathtub scene of her
this is-
scrubbing?
nah.
They put me through like, what do you call it? Like PR training and all that. It was horrible. Like
Yeah.
it was so horrible. But I guess there was like the commercial, but I didn't even remember the commercial. I remember like the whole VMA thing, them coming to my house to film like a video, which was super weird because I had to have all my friends come over. They're like, bring all your friends over and just like, you know, pretend you're hanging out like you normally do. And I'm like, we don't do this.
Yeah.
Like there's like 20 people in my apartment. This isn't normal. It was all fake bullshit, but you know.
Did you DJ the VMAs or? how was
I
that?
did like events for it, and then I was doing like interview, like red carpet weird interview shit. Honestly, like I blocked so much of it
You were
out.
interviewing people?
Yes,
Wow.
like random fucking people. But that's also like I have no place to be doing this. That's not what I do.
Was Sujit handling this for you?
No, this was
I was about to say.
so. Luckily, that happened like right before I got on Scam.
Okay.
So like it was happening at the same time But
So was that like Irie or you handling it?
it came through Mia Moretti because they needed DJs who were not SAG members, and I guess she was. So she recommended me for some reason.
Okay.
So it came through her, which is odd.
Yeah.
Because
I could just see like Sujit just yelling at, like, kind of just being like, yeah, just do this commercial. And,
Yeah.
you know, blah, 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 blah.
yeah. I mean, there was other shit like that.
You work for me, yeah.
Yeah, basically. I mean, if I said no to anything on Scam, it was not good.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't say no to anything. But for me, that situation was just like, oh, this is money that I have never had before. Like,
I mean, just
I
give
like
that
the
check
fact
at
that
once, man.
she asked for soap and didn't give her soap. Like, yo, take all this
they
money.
didn't give me any soap.
But keep the A
Also,
part.
White Claw.
White Claw.
Let's go.
You want that White Claw
That's
sponsorship,
my next
huh?
commercial.
That's the
Yeah,
next
I do.
commercial.
What kind of Jessica
I'm Jessica Who?
What kind of
And when I
commercial
go
would
out,
that
I
be?
I drink White Claw.
I drink.
But that wouldn't be a lie.
Sometimes.
All the
That'd be
time.
easy.
All the time.
So then, ultimately, you left Scam
Yes.
in 2016.
No, yeah, it might have been 17. I think it was 17.
Yeah.
Not sure, but
Do you know? I mean, what were the reasons for it? Did you go through the Rocticon burnout stage, kind of a little
yes.
bit? Yeah.
But also market flooding. Like when I left, there were 110 DJs.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had passed that point where I was no longer at that point where, you know, I'm being pushed. Now it's other DJs that have joined more recently that are getting that push that I first got, which is fine. I completely understand that. But it's 110 DJs all fighting for the same gigs in the same cities. And like, I went through like some really slow phases where like I wasn't working, I wasn't making money, and it just wasn't sustainable at all, you know?
Yeah.
It was just very, you know, I remember like we would wake up every week and get like the newsletter and there'd be like 10 new DJs. Like it's this guy from Dubai and this guy that we've never heard of and this guy. And I'm like, I joined this, or I desperately wanted to be on Scam because I wanted to be with people that I looked up to.
Right.
I wanted to be like the worst DJ on the best label and just be around people that I was like, I can't believe I get to DJ with these people and then I'm friends with them, whatever. So when that kind of started, I don't want to say dissipating a little bit, but like it was too hard. It was too hard to make money. It was too hard to work. And that started changing. And then I started seeing those people that I joined initially for, like, starting to leave. So I think that made me feel like it was safe or safer to leave. You know, and it was scary. It was like a huge risk because that name carries a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And it still does, you know. So it was just...
I mean, Sujit's tough. And he can be a little abrasive, but
very.
But
and a lot
I
of that
mean,
I did take personally, and like I think that was just the point in my life where I'm like, all right, I have this Dave situation, and then I also have Sujit, and it was like so much like confrontation and like abrasiveness that I was like, all right, something has to change. Like one of these things can't continue. So,
but I mean, he does the one thing about Sujit, he does have his hands on a lot of the nightclub circuit.
Yeah, 100%
and the market.
he does.
You know what I mean?
It's insane.
And I always accept his abrasiveness just because I know he's super busy.
Yeah.
And he's talking to, like you said, like 100 plus
150
DJs.
fucking DJs.
And I'm just another dude like bitching
Exactly.
to him about gigs.
Yeah.
So I always try to get on his level whenever I speak to him and try to
You
like,
gotta- yeah.
get on a level playing like, look, I know you're busy.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to ask this, you know,
Sorry to bother you.
what's going on with this
Yeah.
and what's going on with that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've grown to I've created a way to handle him, and I've
being
I've
there
gotten
for
to
as
a
long as
yeah.
you have, like,
I've gotten to
you
a
learn.
level playing with him where we have an understanding. He
Yeah.
knows that when I hit him up, I don't bother him just to bother him.
Yeah.
Like he understands that
Yeah.
I have some concerns, and he takes it seriously and
Yeah.
he respectfully. Yeah, but I think it can be if you don't create that kind of relationship with him.
Yeah.
I think it could come off as like. I think it you know doesn't evolve. Does that make sense a little
Yes.
bit? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I also think it's different with different people.
Right.
Like has different relationships with Irie than he ever could or would care about having with me, you know, and I totally understand that. It was just like, all right, our relationship's not really going to evolve any further, and you know, I need to work, and
Right.
like there's too much competition right now, so like that's what kind of led to it. And I think a big catalyst was Graham going to Rich Group, and then the same week that I was supposed to leave, Fashion went to Rich Group, and I was like, okay, now I feel like there's a little bit of a cushion for me. Like it's not as scary, you know. And Lewis is funny. Like he can be very abrasive, and he has that same kind of manner of dealing with you. But I feel much more comfortable being like, hey, fucking listen to me. Like I feel more comfortable talking to him. Right. You know.
Lewis is the owner of Rich Group.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah. Lewis
Were there
Rich.
any other options that you considered going with as far as management, or did you know you wanted to go to Rich Group?
Not that I thought were like realistic for me. I think like the real helpful point was that I'm friends with Conflict, and like basically everybody on that agency like I've known for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was probably very realistic. Like I knew that they would have me, whereas other places like who knows, you know, where else could I go? What are the options, you know, where I wouldn't have to like work really hard and beg and be like, hey, I swear I'm worth it, like with people I don't know. I guess I didn't even really consider anything else. So you know, it worked out, and there's only like, I don't know, 10 DJs, and it was such a change from where I came from, you know.
Was it just automatic switch from scam artist to
Suja didn't give a shit. I was like, I wrote a very nice email. I was like, hey, I want to thank you for everything. You blah 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 blah. It was just a whole very gracious email, and he's like, all right, wish you the best of luck. You know, and that was
he
it.
He replied with K.
Yeah, basically, that was his version of K, his like very kind version of it. But yeah, it was fine. Like there was no, you know, because there's always that fear where you're like, oh, am I going to get blacklisted? Am I going to be like, whatever. And Fashion was saying the same thing, and I was like, I think he cares more about you than me, so
I'm good.
Yeah. I was like, if we're both leaving in the same week, he's going to focus his anger on you, you know. But I don't think it happened to either of us. So
tough love.
Yeah.
So how's it been on Rich Group?
It's been good.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I think I have a good relationship where I can be like, yo, I'm burned out, like I don't want to do that, or it's not enough money, or da-da. Whereas in the past, I didn't necessarily feel comfortable saying no.
Yeah. Or how you felt like you had to say.
Yeah, at all. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, I can text him and be like, yo, what's up with this guy? I haven't been booked at this place in fucking forever. Like, what's going on? I can just be honest with him. Yeah. And if he says, fuck you, I'm working on it, then great. Or I'm not, shut up, great. But the communication is there that like I didn't necessarily have before, because I was kind of afraid of Sujit. Like I'm very
You were afraid of Sujit, really?
Well, I'm very non-confrontational. So it's like, man, do I even want to bother sending this email or this text where I know what I'm going to get back is like just like a dickhead response that like hurts my feelings, you know? So whereas like, no, I'm not going to do that until you do this. Why the fuck haven't you done this? You haven't done anything for me lately. Like all this shit. It's like, so I'm like, do I want to bother sending this message, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's a lot easier with Lewis.
Did you ever feel like along the way in your whole career in DJing where being a woman DJ was like beneficial or like kind of hurt you in some ways? It created more obstacles for you, or not really?
I don't know. I feel like I've been answering some version of that question for like 15 years.
Yeah.
But
I felt like I had to ask it.
I think it's changed a lot. Like when I first started, there weren't, I know that there were, but there weren't like open format female DJs that I knew of necessarily. And then, you know, when there was like one or two or three that I knew of. Mm-hmm. And now it's completely fucking different. There's like really dope female open format DJs all over the place, which is awesome. And I know a lot of them and they're great. But I think it just depends on the place. Like there would be times where I would walk into a venue, and this still happens now, where I'll walk into a venue that I've never played at before. And I know that they don't know anything about me, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. And I'll walk in and I'll get like this talking down to from like the opener or the manager or the light guy or whatever. It's like, this is what we do here, so just do this and don't do that and do this and don't do that and do this. This is like, can I just do my fucking job? Like I don't need, you know. And I think a lot of times that wouldn't happen if I was a guy, you know. There are definitely times where it's been beneficial.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's times where I get booked because they want a female DJ. And while that sucks, all I can say is, all right, that's fine. At least I'm booked and I can go there and pleasantly surprise them that I can actually DJ.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there are a couple instances that I can think of that where like crazy shit happened where I know it wouldn't have happened if I were not female. Like the first offer I got from management was fucking insane. And this is like 2007. And I got a call out of the blue from some guy who ran an agency that was all female DJs, which is like red flag. That's your first red flag. And I think it was somebody else I knew was on the agency who like gave him my name. This was forever ago. This was like 2007. And I remember the guy calling me and basically telling me, because I think he thought that this was like, if you were a female DJ, you were actually just trying to get into show business. Like you didn't actually care about DJing. So he would call me and being like, oh, I can get you in magazines. I can get you on TV. We can record a record. And I was like, I don't want to do any of that shit. Like, why would you say that? Like, I want to DJ. Can you get me gigs? Like,
Yeah.
And he just kept trying to push the fact that he's like, no. You want to be in magazines. You want to be on TV. You want to do this and that. And I'm like, no, I'm fucking telling you, I want nothing to do with that.
I want to be a working DJ.
Yeah. That's my goal in life, to be a mediocre, middle of the road working DJ. And I've done it. But the fucking craziest part is that I'm like, nah, whatever. But I'm like, all right, let me think about it. Let me call you back. Because in your head, when I was like 21 or 22, and it's like, oh my God, I got my first offer to do, like, that's crazy. Am I making a huge mistake by saying no? Then I remember my second conversation with him, he basically told me that I would have to pose nude.
What?
Yo.
For like something. He's like, I don't remember if it was whatever, because basically every other girl on that roster had posed nude for like Playboy or something. He managed like, there was like a Playboy DJ back in the day, like Shannon Collins or something like that. Yeah. So girls like that. And I'm like, first of all, have you seen me? Like, I was 21. I had like short hair. I had a lip ring. I was like a little nerd.
Suicide girl.
Basically, that's how I looked. So I'm like, first of all, no. Second of all, I have to be on this agency. That's just part of the deal.
Super creepy.
So I remember being like, no, absolutely fucking not. But hanging up, and like, there's that little part of you in the back of your head that's like, did you just make the biggest mistake ever? Like, are you?
Terrible.
Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. That would never happen.
That's awful.
If you were a guy.
Oh man.
Like being like, oh, did I just fuck up my whole career? Like,
right.
Am I ever going to get this opportunity again? And I remember it was like probably 4 months later I met Irie.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So it was like, I just knew. I was
Jesus
like, thank
Christ.
God. Yeah.
That's a suspense ending, man. Fuck.
Sorry.
That was so manipulative.
Yeah.
though, right?
It is.
It's
I mean, and shit like that
horrible.
happens all the time. And I was young. Like, I was super fucking young. So it was like to the point where anything in me was even considering that, just because it was like, well, is this what I have to do to
This is how the business is, yeah.
The scary thing is it's manipulative, but to that guy, that was probably the norm.
Yeah,
because
for
he
sure.
had been dealing with girls that were willing to do it.
Yes.
So he thought he was saying nothing crazy to
And
you.
girls that wanted to be on TV and make music and shit. And like, I never wanted to do that. So
Yeah.
whoever you are,
That's fucking nuts. Yeah.
Fucking asshole.
I've never had anyone ask me to pose nude.
Yeah, me either.
will you post nude for me? It's not too late.
I just want to be.
She's just an all-male DJ agency.
I just want to
You
be
gotta
a
pose
working
nude first.
DJ. I just
Yeah.
want to DJ, yo. I think it was weird at the time, though, for a lot of to just be like a working DJ
Yeah.
who was a woman. You know?
I think it still is now. I think it's still weird in general just to be a working DJ. Because
little
I get
bit.
asked all the time, I'm sure you guys too.
How long do you want to do this kind of
Well, I
thing,
get
right?
asked by like Uber drivers and shit constantly, like, "Oh, you must be famous if they're flying you out here." And I'm like, "Nope.
Oh,
like,
just a good DJ.
I'm
Yeah.
just like, someone's got to be in a club every night. They
Yeah.
can't all be famous, and that's what I'm here for."
Yeah.
So it's like, I think just the level that we do it at is hard for people to comprehend. But yeah, as a woman, like, even more so, maybe.
Do you feel like there's more competition now, or
With
you think
girls?
it's yeah? Are you kind of like it doesn't affect your business at all?
Yeah,
or do you think the market's grown so it's even better?
I think it's definitely grown, and I think like I don't want to speak ahead of it, but like I think the era of the I want a cute girl DJ is like kind of ending.
Kind of
because
don't speak so
I know,
too soon.
Because now we have like influencer DJs. It's like a whole new iteration of it. But
and a lot of them are killing it, kind of. Yeah,
money wise.
Yeah.
But I think that
taking all the $20,000 doves.
Yeah, doves.
But I think that's like
Fuckers.
that. I think I want to hope that people are like they know the difference now.
Yeah, no, they do.
Yeah,
I think they do. Well, the thing is like I was talking to somebody in marketing about this, and like nightclub marketing.
Yeah,
they're like, we have an opening. We're opening this club. You know, we're gonna get Chantel Jeffries. You know,
that's exactly who was in my brain.
Yeah, and they're like. And they're like,
no.
And like, we're going to get her for the opening because we're going to get a lot of press. We're going to get a lot of social media posts. But in the end, you know, we're going to book someone like a Jessica Who because she's going to hold down the club. But for the initial opening.
But that's hypothetical. No one said that.
No, because I was speaking about, we were speaking about a certain opening and they booked Chantel Jeffries.
Right.
And I was like, well, there's these other, women DJs that are dope. And your name came up and I named a couple others. But they were like, no, we know that. But for the initial opening.
At least they're aware.
Yeah, no, like, they're strategic. They know what they're doing. So they're like, for the opening, we need her. For the opening, because it doesn't matter. Like, all that matters is the press and the actual, the social media presence. We need all, the influence. A lot of the models and influencers and celebrities know her.
Yeah.
And they're aware of her. They have, a relationship with her, so for that it makes sense. But as far as a regular night, a Friday night, an industry night, Saturday night, we're gonna book the DJs that can hold it down. So it's not even an issue. And I said, you know what, that makes sense. Like,
because I never thought that they were like aware of it.
They're fully aware.
Yeah, I thought a lot of bookers were just like, fuck it. She's famous and she's a girl and she's hot.
I'm sure there are nightclubs maybe not to diss like the Midwest or like somewhere in the South where they're like, wow, like that.
Yeah.
That must be popping, so we're gonna book that.
Yeah.
But I know the big cities, the coastal cities, they're just kind of like, no, we know, like. But she's gonna do the opening, and we're gonna get a lot of hits, and people are gonna know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. But yeah, I know what you mean.
There's still that. But you do it just changes.
I feel like the market's opened up. The only thing that I think when I talk to a lot of women DJs about it, I think the one thing they don't like is that some of them are getting booked for the fact that like, oh, we want to do like an all girl night, or we want to do like, one weekend a month we do all girls.
It's girl takeover.
The girl takeover. But some get bothered by that. But I was like, I'm
bothered by it.
But to me, if I was like, someone was like, hey, we want to do an all Asian weekend, and we want to get.
You'll be the first one on the flight, bro.
I'd be pissed if I wasn't in that weekend. I'd be like, we want to get 5. We want to get Scratchy.
There's so many good Asian DJs, though. That's not fair.
It'd be like, wait, you didn't want Crooked? Like, I'm an Asian DJ.
You're going to get MK instead of you?
And then we'd all be, like, eating together, like, can't wait for next month's Asian weekend.
All-Star Asian weekend.
I mean, it's one of those things where...
But that would be weird, right? That would be weird. If they did an all Asian night or an all black night or an all whatever night, that would be weird. But when they do it with girls, it's normal. And I get that there's a difference.
Yeah.
But let me tell you why I have an issue with it. Only because it affected me personally extremely recently.
Okay.
So I've been playing at Basement.
Yeah.
Where you're at tomorrow.
Yes.
Since the opening. So that's probably 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's like probably my favorite club to play. One of my favorite clubs to play, especially in Miami.
Yeah.
It's such a good room. It's a good size. Like, it's fucking awesome. So when that club opened, it was supposed to be like a disco club. And they were doing like straight, like weird shit. So this is the first time I've ever done this in my whole life. But the booker I knew who I'd been working with for a long time was like, look, I'm not in charge of the booking. Make a mix. Let me send it to the guys in New York. And I'm like, I have never done this. I'll do it. I want this gig badly. I made like a 2-hour disco mix just because I enjoy it. Like, that's the shit that I love.
Yeah.
So I make this mix. I send it to him. Great. Here's your date. come and do your first date, whatever. I get there, I walk in. He's like, oh, so by the way, we're going to open up the format a little. You know, play some hip hop. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I wasn't mentally prepared for that. I'm like, I'm going to go do this dope disco set.
Right.
So from there, Basement became what it is today, which is a standard open format, like hip hop club.
Kind of top 40. Yeah.
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 And it's on the beach, so it's like a little more touristy and like kind of like richer kids and shit. So I've been playing there monthly. I mean, from when I was on Scam to now, whatever. And then recently they stopped booking me for like my regular, just like my Friday night or my Saturday night or whatever.
Right.
And he goes, oh, we're going to start doing this female night once a month on Friday. And it's going to be, there's a girl opener, there's you. For whatever reason, I was always the headliner because there was no other girl that could do it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then a girl in the bowling alley side. So for the first couple times, I'm like, all right, whatever, fine. But then it starts like, that's the only night of the month I can play. Mm-hmm. So it's not lining up with my calendar. And then I'm like losing this gig I've had for 4 or 5 years because they want to do a girl night and they're only doing it on the second Friday of the month. And I'm like out of town, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas it used to be like, you can do any Friday or any Saturday. It's you're on Scam or you're on Rich Group. We're rotating your roster. So that became like a thing recently where I'm just like, yo, and then they stopped doing the girl night. And now it's like,
You're in a limbo.
Well, like now you know.
now I'm in limbo. And it's like, wait, I've been here for 4 years. Like, what happened? I'm a regular DJ, you know? But now I have that like marker on me or something where it's like, oh no, you're only going to be doing the girl nights.
It's like
know?
a subcategory of DJ that they just created for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So
when in the end, like for the past 5 years, you were a DJ.
just a DJ there.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, they've been changing bookers and shit. And I know they're trying to like come up with.
I was gonna say I heard like a lot of stuff on the beach.
Yeah.
It's kind of like very corporate, and it's just like it moves like a lot of people are in and out, and it's like super.
I mean, it
weird
was
and
pretty
different.
steady for 4 years or so, and
Yeah,
I get you want to try different shit, but like, come to me, talk to me, brainstorm with me because that shit's not gonna work. Nobody cares about a girl night; they just want to hear good music,
Right.
you know. So,
What do
my
you
opinion.
well, in LA? I know it's becoming like a bigger thing. Like they're doing it more and more.
Yeah.
And is there a female or a woman DJ scene emerging out here, or not really?
You know, there might be. I think what's coming back is like people are doing their own parties more now.
Yeah, yeah.
Where there was like a 8-year period where no one was doing that. Like people used to throw nights. Like, oh, this is my night. Come to my night. It's my people and my theme and whatever. So I think like I'm starting to see in Miami now like a lot more like female led or female oriented parties and shit like that. But it's like really young people. It's like that new wave of people that are going out. So I'm not like super tapped into it, but I am seeing it a lot.
And do you have any interest to start your own party, or not really?
I do some,
Okay.
but they're kind of like weird. So I started the emo night in Miami. Cause like the one in LA, it's like 3,000 fucking people go to it.
Yeah.
Or some shit.
Right.
It's huge.
Yeah.
One in Brooklyn, it's massive.
I haven't heard about this. What is this?
Yeah, I'm not
Emo
familiar
night.
either.
Oh,
Emo
you
night, they
guys,
play all
emo
night.
night.
I can just imagine what it would be.
No, it's pretty cool. I've been
It's
to
emo
one.
night. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like fucking shit that people used to sing along to in their cars in 2003.
With like slow jams or something?
No, it's like Fall Out Boy and Paramore
okay.
and Taking Back Sunday and
Chemical Romance.
My Chemical Romance. Yeah, shit like that. So that wasn't happening in Miami. And I was like, let's see if actually with a friend of mine that owns a bar downtown that's super dope called Mama Tried. He's like, let's try it out last December. He's like, let's just see how it goes. And it was fucking crazy.
Dope.
So we've been doing it once a month. And that's just like,
This is your party?
yeah,
Nice.
with my buddy Domingo. So that's just something that I've been doing that's like this weird little side project to keep myself sane.
Yeah.
How long has it been going on now?
It'll be a year in December.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we just got to write up in
That's
the
dope.
Miami New Times.
Oh,
That's
congrats.
dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still small compared to the other ones. The other ones are
Is it called
massive.
Emo Night?
It's called Worst Day Ever. Ooh, Miami Emo Night.
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
name.
worst day. That's a good name.
Worst day ever is a good name.
So
I'm going to start the happy one.
Can I see this?
No, there was a happy
The
one.
great day ever. Only happy music.
Where it came from was Yes Jules was affiliated with a
You see,
festival
now I can't do it.
called Best Day Ever.
Oh,
I remember that.
So we thought,
Super petty.
fuck that shit. It wasn't my idea.
that bitch.
It wasn't my idea.
it was your idea.
It really wasn't.
Play something.
But yeah,
for the girls.
it just kind of stuck. No, I didn't even remember that at the
She's
time. I
not,
swear.
she's not playing something for the emos.
Yeah.
They're like she was with her crew. They're like, what should we name this? Play something for the girls. Play something for the girls. Worst night ever. That's what we should do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's like, so there's more of that shit happening now. I think people are like starting to throw their own parties again, which is super cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
When is it? When do you throw it?
It's this Sunday. It's one Sunday a month. It's usually the last Sunday, but
Yeah.
it moves around for holidays and shit.
Yeah.
So it's super fun. And like, I don't have to think that much about it.
Yeah.
Do you curate the music for the whole night, or do you bring in guests?
DJ
or?
it.
Okay.
So I don't bring in guests yet, just because like I've had a couple people ask me about doing it, but they're out of town people, and like we don't have a fucking budget.
Yeah.
So if it's somebody like Phenom would be fucking great for it, and he really wants to do it. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yo, when you're in town, fucking do it. But for right now, I just have a buddy of mine who's actually a tattooer who like does 10 to 11 or whatever, and then I play the entire night
Yeah.
till like 5. But I don't have to think too much about it. It's like I'll mix shit when it works. Like I have edits of, I think there's a bunch of like Doc Adam edits and like of that kind of shit from DMS, but like you don't have to mix it. Like
Yeah.
as long as you're playing like a fucking banger right after this shit ends, like it's just super easy and everyone's like screaming along and like no one really cares about anything but that. So it's fun.
And it's a good
super
break
fun.
from everything else you're
Yeah,
doing, right?
and I need that.
So you look forward to doing these nights and stuff?
Yeah,
like that?
it's super fun. Although I know I get super fucked up like every time I do it. It's just like, it's that night where I'm trapped in the booth and it's like 16 people in a row are like, I brought you a shot. It's heavily industry too because
Yeah.
it's on a Sunday. And we get like a super late, like 2 a.m. industry wave. So, those people drink a lot.
Yeah.
So you recently got married, right?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you.
We see the big, the
Nice
diamond.
rock. Got the rock.
I don't have my nails done. Don't look.
Oh no.
The cameras are not that good. Just admit that way.
Yeah, don't worry about
It's
that.
not fucking
thing is huge.
Navy SEAL.
That shit probably glistens like a motherfucker.
It has with these
With
lights.
these lights. Yeah.
Yeah. She gang
So
gang.
how was marriage life and juggling the DJing thing? Is
It's
it cool?
the same. There was like a huge difference. Like he's very much a morning person and I was very much not.
Do you think
Still
it's
not.
really good to date someone not in the industry, something completely different?
I think there's pros and cons.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like there's all these like memes and jokes about like men, like male DJs, like with jealous girlfriends and like who's that girl in the booth and all that shit. And I'm like, what about when it's me? Like I'm the DJ,
Yeah.
Have you had that?
What?
Like jealous
Him being
boyfriends?
jealous? Yeah.
Like talking to you while you DJ and everything? Like, yeah, what the fuck's going on? And da-da-da.
Who's that? That's Graham.
Not like, yeah, it's fucking Graham.
That's Graham. Don't worry about Graham.
No, but what I have had happen pretty frequently, I don't want to say frequently, but it's happened a couple times where like, a lot of my friends are guys. A lot of my friends are male DJs.
Yeah.
And like, I'll be in the booth with them and their girlfriends get freaked out.
Oh.
Who's that bitch?
Yeah. And like knowing that I'm another DJ, knowing who I am, but it's just like, I want nothing to do with your dude. Like I'm just, so I have to do that thing where I like go super out of my way to be like really non-threatening and like really friendly. Like, hey, it's so great to meet you. Can I get you a drink? Like, like
Jessica
just go
starts juggling
out of my way.
and
What can I do?
So you have to be like, he's my friend, but we can be best friends. Like, we're
Well,
gonna
it's
be
more
best
like
friends.
I'm
Girl
not
power.
I'm not a threat. Like, yeah, which
Girl
is
power. We stick together.
my nightmare.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just to be like, I can tell when certain like girlfriends are kind of iffy about the situation.
I never thought
so-
of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's happened.
Who's that? That's who.
I think it's happened a couple of times where like I'd be DJing and maybe my girlfriend at the time would be in the booth. And then like another like woman DJ or
Yeah.
a homie
Yeah.
would come and slap me in the ass, be like, Cricket! And
It's a homie though.
Yeah.
Like,
And then
you know.
she'll see my girl and she'll be like, oh shit, like sorry.
sorry. Yeah.
And then
But that's why. Like,
Sorry, but that's my
yeah.
dog.
Yeah.
That's the homie.
I'd be like, oh shit, what up?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
but it is a little. It can be a little.
there's
weird.
a couple like tricky situations that happen, you know, when you're the female DJ, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, whatever, man. People are weird no matter where you go and what you do. So you just have to like navigate it.
Do you care about the female woman DJ?
Like the
thing,
moniker?
label? Yeah.
No.
But
What do you mean?
You know what I mean? No, you don't. Oh, like a lot of women DJs don't want to be called female DJs
Oh, I don't.
because it's like.
That's why Cricket uses women.
It's labeling.
Yeah.
It's very labeling.
But that's like splitting hairs to me. Like,
Yeah.
Well, woman is like a person.
A feminine term.
Female is
Yeah.
like like a material.
Yeah.
female.
Object.
No, that doesn't bother me. I think more just being labeled as a female DJ is what would bother me if there was anything.
Yeah.
Just like, I didn't choose to be a female.
Like female
You know?
DJ.
Right.
Female DJ Jessica who?
Yeah, it's like clearly I'm a female, you know, but I think it doesn't bother me anymore. It used to be when I first started, I thought like I really had to fight against it because I didn't want to be labeled. I didn't want to just be, I would say like I didn't choose to be a female. I chose to be a DJ. Like that's all I can control. So that's all I am. I'm just a DJ.
I think it's weird too, but
You don't say male DJ, like,
No,
you know.
No.
Yeah.
But I think it's weird because it's one of those things where I think the market dictates the categories.
Yeah.
So if the market dictates a category for hip hop DJs, that's a category.
Yeah.
And you either get placed in the hip hop DJ category, or you don't.
Yeah.
Reggae DJs, and then moves on to EDM,
About
open
female
format.
hip hop DJs.
And unfortunately, there's women DJs, and then under the subcategory might be women event DJs.
Yeah.
Women
Celebrity
whatever.
DJs.
Yeah, and there might be a day when people want, like obviously if there's like, an event, that's like requiring a black DJ that, is dealing with like, some type of I don't know, something like maybe they might want a black DJ, might be some type of event or
It's like everything that D-Nice, MOS
Yeah.
do is like the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
They're
but-
doing
yeah.
like
they're doing all these
shit that I wish I
Well,
could do, but
they're-
I'm not black, so I can't do it.
But
It's like the craziest
but it's also
shit.
but it's also crossed over where they're doing like the Academy Awards
Exactly.
and shit like
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just in this upper echelon of like super high class DJs.
And those, to me, those are the like event,
Yes.
corporate event DJs, and
But
they've
to me,
gone
it's like
to that,
more than corporate. That's like
Yeah.
they're doing like Obama inaugurations and shit.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
D-Nice did that to me. Like
Yeah.
it's just fucking crazy.
I can never do that. Hopefully, there'll be that Asian category.
the first Asian
Asian
president,
weekend.
Andrew Yang, 2020. Let's go.
Oh my God!
Yo, he's killing shit.
I'm telling you right now,
Yo.
I will not. If there is an all Asian DJ night or whatever, I'm in for that. Dude.
Would it be weird
You
if I
should be.
threw it?
Huh?
Would it be weird if I threw it?
Nah.
If you were booking like, hey,
I was like,
Asians are
yeah.
kind of popping right now.
Yeah.
We're doing an all
Asians are
Asian
so
DJ.
hot right
Yeah.
now.
Asians 2020.
Will that ever happen? No.
Hey, yo, if he
If it
wins,
did, I wouldn't be mad.
You can make it happen.
yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Isn't he Korean too?
No, he's Chinese.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna do an all Jew DJ night.
Nice.
Aren't you?
Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it.
Who else do I got?
Ross one.
Ross.
Hey.
Yeah. Mark Ronson.
Is he?
Yeah.
Good. All right, I got some good people.
I
in my
think
company.
A-Track
There's a
as
lot
well,
of good
right?
Jesus. Yeah. Mighty
A-Track
Mai.
is
Mighty Mai.
Spider.
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 Yeah, it's a lot
Is
of
he or
them.
does he just look like a Jew?
No, he's
No, he is.
I'm a Jew. I can see.
He's
that.
gonna love that, by the way.
I love
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. What do you call it? Is there anything else we want to touch
I
on?
think we're good.
We're good?
It's raining.
It is.
Yeah.
Welcome to summer in Miami.
The funny thing,
Yeah.
I'm looking outside. I can't see the water just going, but
That big palm
Maybe
tree
it's
is just
not raining.
masking it.
I just heard it.
I know, Jess, I'm so glad you came through, yo.
Thank you so
finally,
much.
yeah,
Exciting.
shit.
Well
It was-
worth the
It was
wait.
well worth it, right?
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah.
for me.
6 times is a charm. That's what they say.
It wasn't 6. It was 3.
Is there any other women DJ or feminist movements we need to talk about? Or any
Feminist
issues?
movements.
Yeah.
I would be the last person you should ask.
Have a White Claw highlight her.
You know what I mean?
I
That's
want
what-
to shout out CLA though, because I think about her all the time. She's a dope fucking DJ.
Great DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she's still,
Amazing.
she's still doing her thing in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was always with me at Tao. She's fucking awesome.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout to CLA.
What up, girl?
Yeah. Jessica Who, thank you so much for coming through, man.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
You can find this video alongside all our brand new videos on Friday. YouTube.com/The R.O.A.D podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get the video first.
Sponsor me, White Claw.
White Claw. What are you saying? Notification belt?
No, bell. Hit the notification bell.
Isn't it a button?
No, it's a bell.
All right,
The little
whatever.
icon.
that was okay.
That was B grade.
No, that was
last
okay.
one was
Cut.
Last one.
killed it.
Yeah.
We might have to just cut in the other one.
All right. Yeah. Shout to DJ City. We out.
Peace.
Peace.